Hey everyone, here we are back to talk to you about New Build Monday and also the neighbor update. So I wanted to figure out how to show you these pictures that I took of the next door neighbor's house, but my computer, the actual one I normally use for our updates, is been having issues and is at the shop. So we unfortunately have screenshots built on laptop that aren't so great. I won't be able to show amazing quality, but I will put them on the screen when I talk about it. So that's the question. So last week there was a hole in the ground, and a lot of you guys were wondering about why there was no fence or anything like that. So I took a picture like right when they were digging. They did take 2 days to do that, so excavation process. Once the excavation was done, they actually had the materials, like it's like a small pile of wood and wire, and they poured the forms in that. So they did that the next day. I have a picture that I took, and I'll just show it to you this way. So that was what it looks like this morning. The forms were poured in, and that was done probably a day after the hole was dug. They put the forms in already the same day, and then the concrete truck came and poured that. You can see they did put the basement wall forms in on the weekend. It's a loud big bang because they're dropping it in, and they're not exactly the lightest things. So you can see the view. There is a snow fence now, and there is, they got rid of the big green fence. They had a green metal fence there for the first couple days before they put the snow fence up. They did dig back our landscaping to make sure it doesn't fall right in, but I have a very small front yard, and it was just hard to see before we had that neighbor come in. So that's what it looks like right now on our front yard. So my guess is that they will be putting the forms up in place for the basement walls probably today, and then they will probably also put the cement forms in. On the weekend, they were covered, the forms on the bottom, like the foundation footings, they were poured, and there was a tarp put on top because it was cold, obviously. And so what night was it that we came home, and there's a guy with a light on, and he was taking back the tarps. We thought he was removing all the forms, like the wood that was holding it in place, but he wasn't. It was really weird. He just kind of blocked us from getting into the house and did move out of the way. Didn't probably expect for us to be coming in. So that is the progress right now on the neighbor's house in terms of construction. We will continue week by week to follow that construction process, so you can kind of see what it's like, at least up until the framing stage. Once the framing stage goes in, I cannot go into the house because I'd be trespassing, but we can continue to talk about that process. So right now, what I wanted to do was talk to you about what happens after you remove conditions and you have purchased, you signed off on everything with the house. Now what? Well, the next step is you have to pick exterior colors and your appliances. Those are the two big key things next. So when you're choosing exterior colors, what I'd highly recommend that you do is drive around the actual neighborhood that you're building in. Don't go into other neighborhoods because everyone has different architectural requirements. And that is a loaded term. If you talk to any salesperson in the new build world, the architecturals is always a very huge challenge. Why? Because there may be a list of things that you need to meet, but for some reason, whatever we meet, it still may not work. They still may not approve it. Don't ask me why. It's one of those things where you just can't get around it. It's unfortunate because it causes some frustrations on the buyer side, and I get it. I've been there myself. So definitely just make sure you take a look around. Now, it's usually the rule is if your house, let's say it's the only house, well, for one, it makes it a lot easier. But if there's already a house beside you, you cannot be the same color 2 houses down, and I believe across the street and over. So now when I say same color, the exact same shade, you may be able to get away with a different shade of the same color you want. Because let's be honest, there's only so many colors you're going to choose from, right? There's gray, brown, white, off-white. Maybe I've seen some red colors. I've never seen orange, and I wouldn't suggest that at all. Yellow is not suggested. I have seen like a light yellow, would not suggest that. Not good for resale. Exterior colors is something you want to be careful what you choose because you're not probably going to redo that while you live there and even before you sell it, right? So just pick the right color. Green and blue, you've seen. not seen, well, I don't lie. I have seen purple. Again, stay away from the more bolder colors, especially for the exterior. It's a bit much. You want to go bold, play with the door color, the front door color, because that's something you can easily change. But in terms of the front exterior siding colors, be careful what you choose. Now, in certain neighborhoods, such as Rosenthal, for example, you do have to, as an architectural guideline, you have to pick the upgraded colors. Upgraded colors is the darker colors. Not every neighborhood do you have to do this. Darker colors does make the whole neighborhood look nice when everyone's doing it. It makes your house look really nice, even if it's just you doing it. Is it worth the money? It depends on how much you have in the budget to spend. If this is something that's important to you, we should talk about this prior to writing the offer. So we put it in the offer. So when we're trying to negotiate, we have everything negotiated. And after you've removed conditions, anything you do is dollar for dollar with the builder. There is no way around that. And there's that markup that we don't get to avoid. So take a look at the actual neighborhood, figure out the colors that you like, be aware of the neighbors beside you that you're likely going to be not like them, because you're not supposed to. I know in these neighborhoods, that's their goal, is to make things not look the same. But in my opinion, they all kind of look cookie cutter, because that's just the neighborhoods, right? So the exterior colors you're going to choose, and you're also already going to have chosen the style. Sometimes you don't even get the choice, and that would have been done before. So it's a prairie style, craftsman style. There's different styles that you can choose, the modern look. If you want like certain lines and stuff, you may or may not be able to do that in the neighborhood. Those are things that you should have done before you wrote the offer and before you removed conditions. So you were well aware of the style. Because when you sign off on plans, I'm going to show you the exterior style. After you remove conditions, you are picking the colors. Then you are going to be picking your appliances. So my suggestion for you for appliances is that you take a look at the budget that we've given you. So when we write an offer, depending on the price point of the home, if it's a duplex townhouse, zero lot line, estate home, whatever the case may be, we're going to put in a healthy budget. Now, I understand that you're trusting myself as a realtor and the sales rep to give you that idea of a healthy budget. This is the number that we see used and reasonable money spent to be able to cover all your appliances. It doesn't mean that it's going to include that fancy gas stove that you want, or it's not going to include the extra fancy dishwasher. However, if you let us know these are the things that you're considering, we can put that number in. Why do we want that number figured out before you write the offer? Well, again, like I told you, to negotiate that same package. But I also want you to because what happens is you get an amount. Let's say you're building a $500,000 house and you have a $10,000 budget. You have $10,000. It's a lot of money to spend on your appliances. You go into the trail appliances because you've told us you want a fancy dishwasher and a gas stove. You go in there and then you get told what options you have. And usually all new builds use trail appliances, and you have that dollar amount. Now, trail appliances will have your floor plans. They'll have all the opening sizes and everything that we would have figured out. So if you were wanting an oversized stove, for example, that would again be had done before. So they show you the different options. You tell them what you're looking for. We were dead set on against a certain brand, and then we got those brands because we were looking for certain features for the appliances. I know that a lot of our clients will look online and kind of freak out about the prices online. You have to understand that the builders will have different pricing for you at Trail because they obviously purchase a lot more than just someone online. So don't look at the retail prices aren't a really good gauge. So you go in person, and then they'll be able to tell you what that is. So they'll tell you what kind of pricing you have available, and then you spend it. And I really encourage you to stay in your spend. Why? I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I am just trying to make sure that your resale value stays the same. Anything that you spend extra and over and above what we've budgeted, yes, you're paying cash for it. But if you decide to spend another $5,000 or $10,000, like big money extra, you just have to be forewarned that in the resale market, you don't have that ability to get it back. So when you buy a resale, you're buying the house the way it is, including all the appliances. You're not going to pay, think about it from this perspective. When you go buy a resale house, you're not going to go and spend 20 grand more for that house because it has fancier appliances than the other one and they're identical and the same. So keep that in mind. I know it can get really exciting because you get to choose everything that you want and sky's the limit, right? But please, my biggest pro tip is to limit yourself and stay within that limit. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. You're about to go into the design queue, which we will talk about next week. You're going to go into the design queue, design center, and start to choose your things. And we're going to talk all about that next time. Excuse me. Because next Monday, I'm actually going to be at the design center with a client to help them choose their appliances. So I'm going to do a quick little video for you guys from there. If I can figure out the technology over there, we will get an update for New Build Monday update. I will update the neighbors and I will update you from the design center. So if you have any questions and if you're watching this after the fact, comment down below, #replay, and ask me the questions that you have about the exterior and trail appliances. Oh, one more tip with the trail appliances. We have Christmas and Boxing Day and all those sales coming up. When you choose your appliances now, you're able to watch the sales throughout, even Black Friday, throughout your entire year of build. So that's a really, again, a positive thing. If you're thinking of building and want to move in next year, now is a great time to do that process, because then we can watch the appliance price and get the best price for the appliances as well. Have a great day, guys, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.